All right, we're officially live. Give it a few moments here for people to pile into the stream. What's up, Nikki? And my man On Rod's here. Got some people loading into the stream from X. Look at SPY and Triple Q selling off into the close a little bit. Nice move both. And SPY and Triple Q had today. So I know the selling at the end of the day looks a bit extreme. It's kind of only like half of the move it did today, so but it is selling off. Okay, the regular session's over. Closing bell just rang. What's up, Ninja? Over here on Discord, good to see you. So earnings stream again. It's Wednesday. The week's half over, a little more than half over now. And the two stocks that got earnings is QCOM and Robinhood. What's the QCOM having some volatility here. They're supposed to report right at 4 p.m. So I'm pretty sure their data's out on TradingView right now. Yeah, there's a bunch of companies reporting today. Just kind of wait for QCOM's price action to settle down a little bit. See if I can get Earnings Whispers to load the list of stocks. But yeah, ARM, Dutch Bros. Okay, Ninjas and Dutch Bros. All right, wait. Well, let's go over QCOM. So they were just reported. I'll get the EPS revenue, any guidance, find out what time the earnings call is and all that good stuff. The EPS forecast was 2.86, forecast revenue 10.7 billion. Just a quick look at their annual chart here. Trading in a range from like 120 to 200. It came up to 200 recently. Let's go back to the sticks real quick and see what's going on with QCOM. Okay, let's see if this got done loading. Okay, yeah, so Robinhood, App 11, which is APP, IONQ, I know they got kind of a following. Low revenue company, though, compared to some of these bigger ones that pull in a billion. Of course, QCOM, Dutch Bros. Snapchat is also reporting at 410. ARM, it's a $1 billion company. AMC is reporting. DoorDash, Lyft. There's quite a few. Lucid. I'm more interested in Robinhood, QCOM, and maybe Snapchat and DoorDash. We'll see. Robinhood, they're reporting at 405, so 3 more minutes for Robinhood. Forecast EPS 0.51, forecast revenue 1.21 billion. So Blue Brains, what's going on? It's like my partner in crime. Ninja on Discord says ARM. Let's see what ARM's doing. Oh, okay. ARM's getting a positive reaction. They just reported earnings. So QCOM and ARM is out. Let's see if I can get some data on QCOM for everyone. EPS revenue, all that stuff. See if they beat or not. Okay. QCOM doesn't look bad from a bird's eye view. Well, there's obviously more to it because they've got an initial negative reaction, but QCOM has a double beat. Forecast EPS 2.87, they reported 3. Expectations for revenue was 10.7 billion. They reported 11.27 billion. So double beat on QCOM. Year over year and quarter over quarter numbers also green. So got some growth there. They had an initial negative reaction and almost retraced all the way back up. Let's see if I can find out what's spooking investors. Okay, so they did beat EPS. They did beat revenue. That has been confirmed. Let's take a look, see if I can find why they had an initial negative reaction. Qualcomm posted a strong quarter with beats on revenue and EPS. benefiting from continued strength in mobile and AI-driven edge computing, despite a large non-cash tax charge impacting GAAP results. Maybe that's what the initial negative reaction was a large non-cash tax charge impacting the GAAP results. So maybe that's why it had the initial negative reaction. But forward guidance signals robust momentum into fiscal year 2026. See what else I can find on that. So far, the negative thing I saw was the large non-cash tax charge. That's what they're saying. Let me look at a few other things. Okay, Q1 guidance for 2026 for revenue. They said 11.8 billion to 12.6 billion. The estimate was 11.5 billion. So they raised Q1 guidance a little bit. Non-GAAP EPS of $3 to $3.50 versus a 3.30 consensus. So I suppose that came in line. Let me see what else I can find, and then we'll move over to. I know ARM is out. Robinhood. Let me just check Robinhood real quick. Okay, Robinhood's getting a negative reaction. These are 15. This is a 15-minute chart on the right here. Guess I can go to 1 minute and see what it looks like. Yeah, looks like there's possible dip buyers on Robinhood. We'll see. It's printing some pretty big lower wicks. Could show some demand. There's still quite a bit of selling pressure though. Kind of starting to retrace those wicks. We'll see. Let me just finish up with QCOM. We'll find out. I'll find out when the earnings web call is for everybody, and I'll get the link. Maybe that'll save some time for everyone. But again, just real quick with QCOM. This is some commentary from the CEO. Our business remains strong as demonstrated by record QCT revenues in fiscal 2025. We delivered 18% year-over-year growth, non-Apple revenues, with combined fiscal year automotive and LOT revenue growth of 27%. We're excited about our business momentum, the availability of our automated driving stack, and our expansion to data centers and advanced robotics. Interesting. Their earnings don't look bad. Again, the only negative thing I'm seeing here. Let me post this from the Wall Street Engine real quick. And I'll put EPS and revenue here. So the only thing negative I can see is that one time it was like a large non-cash tax charge that affected their GAAP. So let me post that. So it was a double beat by QCOM, and Q1 guidance was raised. So they did raise guidance. QCT revenue was up year over year. QTL revenue was up year over year. QCT revenue streams, which would be handsets and automotive, those were up year over year. So, you know, I know it's red in after hours right now, but this is probably going to be short-lived here. I think that initial negative reaction again was that large non-cash tax charge. That's the only negative thing I can find so far. Let me see if I can find something else. Yeah, it was okay. So they're blaming that non-cash tax charge. They're blaming on the one big beautiful bill. I saw some other companies doing that or stating that as well, that they had these one-time like large charges because of the big beautiful bill. So it's been negatively affecting some of these companies. Other than that, everything looks positive. And that non-cash charge tied to the big beautiful bill, I mean, that's just a one-time thing. So forward looking, you know, that's gone. So I think this QCOM being down in after hours, it's going to be short-lived. I think it's, you know, at least going to come back to where it closed the regular session at. It's only down by like $1.50 a share. So overall, QCOM data looks good to me. Let's see what happened to Robinhood, because they sold off. They're trying to bottom out around 134 a share. They closed the regular session at 142.48. They were up a little over 4% on the day. They had a nice uptrend there. Obviously, all of those gains being, you know, those gains from the regular session are being erased right now in after hours. Let me get and see what's going on with the hood. How's everyone doing? Almost over 300 people tuning in now. Got a good crew in the Discord. TK says Snap. Let's take a look at Snap here. I'll use this other tab over here. Let's look at Snap. Oh, wow. Yeah. It's a nice looking 15-minute green candle on Snap. Almost 4:15. About 4 minutes left on this candle, but Snap's up over 11%. So we'll dig into their earnings as well. I'm going to put ARM on this chart. So we got 4 we're looking at. Snapchat, ARM. ARM had a nice positive reaction and kind of came back down, but they are still green, 3.3%. So Snapchat green, ARM is green. Look, Snapchat's still going. Snapchat can't even talk. Snapchat is up over 15% now. It's looking like a grats to the Snap Bulls. I was just looking at their daily chart earlier, and they've you know, they've been getting hammered since 2022, or actually towards the end of 2021. They were used to trade up in the 50s and higher. And they've been in the 80s before. Came all the way back down here. I mean, Snapchat's been trading between $7 and $17 for the past 3 years. Finally catching some momentum here with this earnings catalyst. That's trading a little above $8, so nothing too crazy, but it is up almost 15%. So, you know, if you're able to get your average down anywhere close, yeah, on X, QCOM is just a joke. Yeah, let's go back there for a second. Yeah, again, their earnings were good. They double beat. They had good year-over-year numbers. They showed some growth. And one of the negative things I could find was, again, that it's this one-time charge because of the big beautiful bill. That's what they're blaming it on. It affected their GAAP results. Let me post Robinhood's EPS and revenue in the comments here. Okay. Put that on the bottom of my screen. Then I'll take a deeper dive into QCOM. See if I can find anything else, but same thing with Robinhood. Robinhood's earnings don't look bad at all. I'll dig deeper, but double beat on Robinhood. Year-over-year, quarter-over-quarter numbers look great. So this is just like the tip of the iceberg, though. So, you know, first glance, it looks great, but need to see if maybe they messed with some guidance or something. And for Robinhood, their sales revenue came in $1.27 billion. The estimate was $1.2 billion. EPS came in at 0.61. The estimate was 0.53. So double beat Robinhood. Platform assets are up 119% year over year. Gold subscribers, you know, the Robinhood Gold members, the gold subscribers, they got 3.9 million gold subscribers. That's up 77% year over year. So double beat on Robinhood and double beat on QCOM. Both stocks are down in after hours. Okay, one negative thing on Robinhood regarding their revenue, the crypto line item. The estimate on that was 287 million. They reported 268 million, so they did miss on that line item. Not sure if that's why it's getting a negative reaction, but that is a little red blip there. Also, operating expenses, another little red flag with the earnings. Their operating expenses went up quite a bit, almost by almost 10%, but the estimate was 496 million for operating expenses, and they said their expenses were 535 million, so they missed on that. They do have $4.3 billion in cash and equivalents, so that's pretty strong. And they do have an ongoing share repurchase program. Oh yeah, Blue Brains. I want to look at IONQ as well. Matter of fact, we can go there now. Go back to Snapchat. Snapchat's almost up to $9 a share. It's up 22%. Snapchat getting a solid move. ARM, initial positive reaction, and it did retrace like half of that, but it's still holding green, up over 4%. Thanks, Blue Brain, for reminding me about IONQ because I did want to look at that one. IONQ not doing anything. It looks like it got a little volatile for a moment. Go 1 minute chart on this. Yeah, it had a positive reaction and then retraced all the way back down. So I'll see if I can find out what happened there as well. But let me go back to QCOM, just see if there any other data kind of trickled out. It's a little after 4:15. I know these actual earnings web calls are going to be starting soon, usually around 4:30 or 5 or 5:30. I'll find out when. Just want to make sure I didn't miss any. Okay, all right. For QCOM, again, back to this non-cash tax charge. It was $5.7 billion. They took a hit on that. That's probably why they're down, even though they kind of beat everything else. That big, beautiful bill is what the CEOs keep blaming it on. $5.7 billion charge. It's pretty significant. Other than that, the earnings look great. It's probably going to be short-term selling. Will be short-lived. All right, let me check a few other things. And let me see here. All right, I'm gonna let's find out when QCOM's earnings web call is. That's a good idea. Okay. Okay, almost 4:20. Check the Discord. Oh, cool. We got a nice group in the Discord. What's up, Brutal Trade? Rollin, good to see you. Charlie's here. Shin. TK, I think I already said hello to. Tammy's here. Pookie's in the house. Y'all just chatting up a storm over here in the Discord. If y'all are looking, people on the socials, almost 400 people tuning in. If y'all looking for a good community to chop it up with every day, come check us out. We have a lot of fun. We're here to make money. We do have, we do have fun. It's not too strict, but one of the good things is we don't really put up with any drama and toxic members. So usually when we spot that, we usually just boot them because we want everyone to be happy and feel good and look forward to the trading day. And we got tons of education and alerts every day. I'm more of a swing trader. So I write a lot of contracts on the option side. So that's kind of my bread and butter. But we do have another coach that swing trades stocks and day trades. Also, he dabbles in options and does very well. He trades naked options. I'm more of an option seller, so there is a big difference. But yeah, good to see everybody. Let's go back to QCOM and find out when their call is, because I know people want to know that. It's at 1:45 p.m. Pacific time, which is going to be 4:45 Eastern. I always go by Eastern time. Plus, I live over here in Florida. So, okay, so earnings conference call, November 5th, 4:45 p.m. Eastern. Let me post this link in the comments, and then that way everyone will know how to get there. And then let's take a look at IONQ and find out why they had a positive reaction and then retraced all the way back down. They're still kind of jumping around like a jumping jack, aren't they? Up, down, up. I mean, it did make a lower high there, so that's not good for the bulls, but we'll see. We'll see. Nonetheless, it's still green. I mean, it's up almost 1%. IONQ is. So look at Snapchat. Holding up right below $9. They closed the regular session at $7.30 a share. I'm going to put this link on the bottom of my screen. That's how you get to the QCOM earnings web call, which starts in about 25 minutes. Let's see what SPY and QQQ. Okay, yeah, they both sold off into the close. You know, if you zoom out, it's not too bad. They just kind of retraced maybe half of the rally they had today. And now they're kind of trying to find the bottom in after hours. This is SPY, which follows S&P 500, of course. And then the trip Qs, which basically NASDAQ. Let's go back to QCOM. Okay, so we got QCOM's reaction. Again, I think their earnings were good. They beat a lot of the forecasts and estimates. But I'll tell you what, a $5.7 billion hit because of the big, beautiful bill. You know, they obviously had to disclose that, and investors aren't really liking that too much. But again, it was a one-time charge, so that's out of the way now. You put that behind them. You know, I don't see this really selling off much more. I think this selling again will be short-lived because everything else looked great for QCOM. Let's jump over to Robinhood. So that was the other one we were talking about. And just in case, let's look at the daily chart on QCOM. It does look like they got some good support, actually, from yesterday's candle, to be honest with you. Kind of lines up with the 21 EMA on the daily chart. It's going to be the low 170s, you know, probably around 172, around there. I'd be looking at that for support just in case they do sell off a little bit more. We want, for the bulls, we want the low 70s to hold for sure. And let me see if I can pop on this volume profile here. And yeah, that kind of lines up with my volume profile. Lots of volume came in around here in the around 170, upper 160s. That's going to be support level number 1, folks, on QCOM. That's the level of interest on the bigger time frame daily chart. All right, let's look at Robinhood. I want to see what else is up with them. Again, Robinhood missed on their crypto revenue. I don't personally trade with Robinhood. I know a lot of people do. I'm not entirely sure how much weight the crypto revenue has for Robinhood, but it is popping off the page like a sore thumb as a red line item here. And then, of course, their operating expenses were about $40 million than what was estimated. So that's, you know, that can be looked at negatively. Charlie says, Snap taking a breather, crashing. Let's see. No, it's still going. It's officially above $9 now. It's up almost 25%, Charlie. Look at that. So if anyone, like I said, it's been trading down here for a while. Kind of look at the daily chart. It's come down to the 7s before. So if you were able to scoop any shares, like maybe you had a position you've had for a long time and you were just kind of averaging down on it, and anytime it came down to 7s or even 8s, if you're able to get your average down because you still are a believer of Snapchat, you could be green going into tomorrow. So, but nice positive reaction by Snapchat, up almost 25%. Let's go back to the hood. Oh, wow, the Chad, you took a position on Snapchat today? Yeah, you damn Skippy. You should be happy about that. You're going to be up like $2 a share, just like that. Congrats, man. Not sure, did you put any hedge in place in case there was a negative reaction? Because if you got 100 shares or more, then you could probably sell a covered call on that position just to protect the downside a little bit. Tammy on the Discord has Snap Leaps. I wonder, did you buy those Leaps when they were like in the 7-8 range? Because if you did, yeah, nice, Tammy. So you should be doing good on those Leaps tomorrow for sure. Look at that. Yep, they're still holding above $9 after closing in the low 7s today. That's up $2 a share right there. You can go to those Leap contracts, look and see what the delta and the gamma is. Add those two together and then times it by 2, because the value of the gamma is how much the delta increases or decreases. But in this case, the value of the gamma is how much the delta increases for every dollar move of the stock price. Okay. So what easy way to just quickly figure it out, how much your Leaps might be worth tomorrow. If it stays up around $9, we'll just kind of round that to $2 just to kind of get a guesstimate. Add the gamma and the delta, times that by 2, and that's how much your contract should appreciate roundabout. Brutal Trade, you have one call Leap expiring next year, April. Okay, cool. What wasn't Big Quench trading Snap? Wasn't he scooping up the bottom on that thing? Maybe that's why there's a lot of people in Discord that have Snap positions. I personally haven't been trading it, but I've been watching it. Okay, Lee was our other coach, Mad Maverick. Love him to death. He's been here since day one. Fantastic coach, by the way. He's been bottom feeding on Snap, and it looks like it's going to pay off big time for him tomorrow and all the other members that followed him. It's definitely looking like a grats to the Snap bulls. I mean, this thing's up almost 25%. Well, can it pull back a little bit? Sure. It's okay if it pulls back a little bit. Even like a 25% pullback would be perfectly normal. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, kind of where the bottom of this green candle was. That's printing right now. It's around $8.75 a share. As long as it doesn't pull back below 8, because that's where the golden fib is. And definitely, just mathematically speaking, we definitely want that golden ratio holding just for retracement purposes. So 8, don't like it below 8 at all for the bulls. But my support level number 1 is going to be 8.75. Support level number 2, $8. Easy support levels on Snap to keep in mind. IONQ making a run to after hours high. Initially had a positive reaction, then retraced 100% basically, and now it's going back up. So this is kind of real choppy price action going on with IONQ, but nonetheless, it's nice and green, up 4.5% almost. Yeah, TK, just stay up there till the opening bell. Then you can cash those puppies in. Nice little payday. TK says Mad Maverick talks about Snap every day. Yeah. I mean, Mad Maverick, his name's Lee, but his Discord name's Mad Maverick. He's really good at getting those bottom, the stocks are like towards the bottom. They're starting to bottom out, starting to curl up a little bit. He's all over those ones. He does a great job too. Yeah, Charlie, I was looking at the daily chart. There was quite a few times where Snapchat came to the $7-8 range and then ended up doubling in price. Because it's kind of for the past, 3 years, it's been trading from $7 to $17. And there's been multiple times that Snap came down to $7-8 and then went straight back into the teens. So if you like trading like a channel trader, buy at the bottom channel, sell at the top channel, you could have rinsed and repeated Snap for the past 3 years if you just followed the daily chart and threw a channel on there. Maybe sacrifice the first half of the year 3 years ago to make sure it's in the channel, right? Because how do you know it's in the channel if it hasn't popped up and down a few times? And so, but definitely the last 2 years, you could have been making money on Snap for sure. Yep. All right, let's go back to QCOM and Hood. Just want to see what's going on there. QCOM trying to bottom out in that low 170s. And remember the low 170s, that's the level we pulled from the bigger time frame. And I love when it lines up like this. That's obviously demand here in the post market on QCOM, the low 170s. And that was exactly the level we saw on the bigger time frame daily chart we pointed out. So, those bigger time frame levels, they really do hold good weight, y'all. They're really excellent levels of entry compared to a level on like the 5-minute or 15-minute, even the hourly. Got to look at those bigger time frames, folks. Get those levels figured out. Robinhood don't look too bad. The initial negative reaction, it's retraced a lot of that selling already. Let's just see kind of what it looks like. Okay. So it's hanging out right on the golden ratio. That's where we want it to reclaim. Confidence that Robinhood is going to retrace all the way back up should be increasing a little bit here now that it's retraced. 1, 2, 3 levels for sure. Working on the golden fib now. So that doesn't look too bad for Robinhood. It is down 2%, but it was up 4% during the regular session. So think about it. Yeah, it's down 2% in post market, but that's, they were up 4% today. So it's only technically they're still on the daily time frame. They're still going to be green. So the 4% green they had today during the regular session, they just shaved 2 percentage points off of that. Technically still overall green for the day if you think about it. So not bad. If you're a Robinhood bull, it's nothing to be concerned about. And again, the two, this is from the Wall Street Engine, but the two red flags that popped up from their earnings on why they probably had that negative reaction is they missed the crypto revenue line item by almost $20 million. They missed that. And then their operating expenses was $40 million than they thought than the estimate was. So just a couple things to note. Let's find out when. So again, QCOM's earnings web call is at 4:45 p.m. Eastern, in almost about 10 more minutes. And that's the link on the bottom of my screen. That'll take you to QCOM earnings call starting in about 12 minutes. Let's find out when Hood's going to report. There we go. Okay, let me check something else out too. I'll post the link in the Discord chat too. That'll get you to the QCOM earnings web call. Let's see. Oh, Tammy, thanks for that nice post there with all the data from Snap. I appreciate you. Look at Robinhood coming back up to where it closed the regular session. Things are looking good now for Robinhood. As far as the selling being retraced, and These levels being reclaimed. Look good. Again, QCOM, the low 170. I would call it 172. Give it a little bit of cushion. 172, that's my support for QCOM. We'll see if it can hold that. Back to Hood. Let me go to the back to Hood. We go to the investor relations. Their website, nice and bright green. What eye-catching. All right, right here on their homepage, latest financial results. So you can download the press release if you want. It's a PDF document, 14 pages long. And revenue's up 100% year over year. I still got Robinhood's price on the right here. You can still see it, but revenue's up 100% year over year. Net deposits were a record $20 billion. Lots of positive things. Again, there was a few red marks that I noticed with the crypto revenue and operating expenses where they didn't do good on those at all. So that's why I think Robinhood had an initial negative reaction. Operating expenses is something they can probably work on and make better. The crypto revenue, that's also something that they could probably spend more time trying to grow. So to make sure that they meet forecasts on the next earnings on that. And they still have a share repurchase program going on. All right. Let's just take a look at a few other. I'm just looking at some other things here. Margin book increased. Okay. Option contracts traded was up 60% year over year to 260 million option contracts traded on Robinhood for the quarter that they're reporting, Q3. All right, here's something else here. Okay, I didn't see this before. The CFO, Chief Financial Officer, Jason Warnick, announced his intention to retire next year. So Jason, the CFO, will transition from his role as CFO in Q1 and continue as a strategic advisor for the company through September 1st, 2026. The company will name longtime Robinhood finance veteran Shiv Verma as the next CFO. So, investors don't really like changes with the CFO either. So maybe that also had a little bit to do with the initial selling. But it's retraced up almost all the way. So the bulls should be feeling a little bit better now. And let's see, their earnings web calls at 5 p.m. Eastern. And looks like right here, this link right here. Okay. All right, I'm going to post this link for Rob. If anyone wants to go to Robinhood's investor earnings web call, there's the link right there. Very simple link, investors.robinhood.com. And when you get there, if you want to look at that PDF document I was just looking at, you can get a much better deep dive into their earnings. They even got a presentation. But right here, just click the earnings webcast. And it starts at 5 p.m. Eastern. All right, let me move this over. Let's look at App Lovin'. IONQ, nice and positive. It's looking like a unless it gets rejected in after hours high, that's like some sort of double top technical analysis price action. It's looking like a grats to the IONQ bulls. I know IONQ has a pretty big following. They're up over 5% now. After being quite choppy, now they're up here holding up in the green pretty well. Snapchat's still holding above 9. Grats to the Snapchat bulls. Let's look at APP. So that was the other one. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it looks good. It's up 4%. Now, this is a $600 stock. So being up 4%, that's a $25 move, folks. Just 4%. So APP, App Lovin' Corporation, up over $26 per share now. So it's looking like a grats to the APP bulls. So unfortunately, out of these 4, App, Snap, actually 5 if you include IONQ. So App, Snap, IONQ, and Robinhood. QCOM's taken the worst of it. Johnson on Kick, how you doing? Good to see you. Good coming out and hanging out. About 400 people tuning in now. So it's 4:40 p.m. The QCOM earnings web call starts in 5 minutes. Let me put that link back up. There you go. Robinhood isn't for another 20 minutes. They're doing theirs at 5 p.m. Eastern. But yeah, looks like oh, Dave was asking about app earnings as well. Yeah, let's just take a quick look and see what APP's data ended up being. And I'll go back to their chart real quick. Here it is on the right. So they're up over $25 a share right now. Let's do a quick run through of APP, and then we'll go from there. Double beat, app crushed earnings. And just so everyone knows, this is the first earnings app has had while they were included in the S&P 500. So great way to break the ice on the earnings with app loving. There's EPS and revenue for APP. Here, I'll post it in the Discord as well. There we go. So this is their first earnings since they've been included in the S&P, and they crushed it. Look at those double-digit growth year-over-year numbers for EPS and revenue. It's looking like a congrats to the APP bulls. Double-digit growth year-over-year numbers. And some are saying it's one of the strongest growth stories in tech right now. Interesting. So keep your eye on APP. They increased the share repurchase authorization by $3.2 billion. Wow. That's amazing. $3.3 billion buyback for app. That's amazing. Strong data from app. So congrats to the APP bulls. Yeah, I don't really have too much else for today. I did open a new trade today, a new wheel trade today that I alerted to my coaching group. If you want the details of the trade, you gotta join the Discord. All right. I usually have, like, right now I have 5 open wheel trades going at the same time. I usually have between 4 and 6. So I'm at 5. I'm probably going to chill with 5 open trades. And as some of the wheels fully rotate for profit, I'll be replacing them with new trades. But I always have at least 4 to 6 trades going all at one time. I alerted a new one today. So, you know, if you want to get my alerts in real time, join the Discord. There's links in the description. And once you join the Discord, tag me and I'll come by and say hello. And we got lots of support in the Discord to help you navigate to where you need to be. But we have a lot of fun. I'm up to, I have over 100 coaching students right now. And I specialize in selling contracts. That's my bread and butter. I know I talk about this every week, but I always end the stream like this. Just we get new viewers every week. So just making sure everyone knows the types of trading that I do. And I target weekly and monthly income. It's as simple as that. So if writing contracts or being on the selling side of the opening transaction is something that you've been confused about or just don't know how to start, I'm your guy. I'm your coach. Not financial advice. Everything is for education and entertainment purposes. But we sure are making some good money over here in the Discord writing contracts. And I got up to a really big, nice sized coaching group now. And I'm always available for questions, comments, or concerns throughout the week, every day. I do a live session every Monday afternoon with my coaching group. And I show them my Fidelity account on the screen share. And I go over all my open positions, what the plans are for them, if any management needs to be done, if I'm taking early profit, closing anything out early, restructuring trades, and just anything you can think of. I'm there every step of the way to help everybody, and we have a lot of fun. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have much else for tonight. I always have a lot of fun with these earnings streams. I usually get between 500 to sometimes a few thousand people every time I do the stream. So looks like everyone's enjoying the content, so I appreciate it. But feel free to leave your feedback if there's anything you'd rather me do more of, or maybe something that I haven't been doing you'd want to see during these streams, and more than happy of changing things up for anyone who wants to make things better. But yeah, my name's The Swinging Bull with PB Alerts. I hope everyone enjoyed the stream. Again, if you join the Discord, there's links in the description. Tag me in the Discord. I promise I'll come by and say hello. We can talk for a little bit. It's no problem. But I hope everyone has a fantastic night. Until next time, I'll see everyone in the very next stream. Cheers.